What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Saturday, April the 5th, 2014. Welcome to April. Got another week of madness to give you here. As always, first link below is going to take you over to the Blogspot post. That's where you can find all these links I'm about to give you. Let's start off with 4 dead, including shooter at Fort Hood. Another shooting at Fort Hood. Some people are calling it a false flag. Other people are saying, well, it's just a military guy that snapped. I'm going along the lines of it's a military guy that snapped. I know there's stuff about Craigslist ads and looking for crisis actors and stuff out there that I can't verify, and we all know what can be done with Photoshop. So, I'll give you the link to the story here. Got a second link. It was interesting, though, just the day before, Fox News has this: FBI and military hunt for ex-Army recruit suspected of plotting Fort Hood-inspired jihad. That comes out the day before the shooting. I thought that was interesting. I don't know, I'll put a link to it. From InfoWars, we got this. Pierce Morgan displays unbelievable ignorance on Fort Hood shooting. Pierce Morgan thinks the gun did it. I'll put a link to it. Unbelievable. No wonder you got fired. Speaking of our military and veterans, this is just a sad story here from Business Insider. This is more reflective of the reality, I think. 1,892 U.S. veterans are thought to have committed suicide since January 1st, 2014. My heart goes out to everybody in the military and all these veterans who are having problems, and when they come home, it's a tragedy, and these bullcrap wars around the planet need to stop. I don't know what else to say about it. I'll put this link. Sad story. Got some other news here. Former Navy SEAL shot in Bath Township parking lot. This was in Ohio. Police seek suspects. I wonder what's up with that. I believe he didn't die. Put a link to the article. From the Examiner, this is a bullcrap story. Marine vet says he faces possible eviction over U.S. and USMC flags on his apartment balcony. I guess the apartment doesn't like the American flag, doesn't like the Marine flag. He's facing this from the Examiner. It's not the first time we've seen crap like this. It's their property. I guess they can make the rules, but it's still bull crap in my opinion. Let's Flight 370 now. I got a couple links. Girlfriend of 370 passenger Wood says fighter jets accompanied Flight 370 in secret militarized operation. Husband is still alive, she believes. I'll put a link to this. Interesting stuff from Telehub. Got one from Before It's News. Rothschild behind disappearance of flight MH370? Everything's still possible because, they're talking about it on CNN right now. They're now listening underwater for the pinger boxes, even though they don't even know if they're in the right place. And here we only have like a day or two left of battery life, if that hasn't expired already. Flight 370 continues to be a mystery. I don't believe any of the official story. But it is what it is. I got more news here. Massive explosion rocks Washington State natural gas plant. This come out March 31. A few people were hurt, and I'll put a link to this. I don't know what's up with that. From the AP, tests say 4 more workers contaminated at New Mexico nuke dump. This come out on the 31st of March. More contamination in New Mexico. From Fox News Politics, did Michigan just trigger constitutional convention? ? Bid game steam. This is something to watch. Put a link to it. Be advised, my friends in the north. This is from CBC News Canada. NORAD launches major northern training exercises. Be advised if you're seeing weird aircraft flying around. This is probably it. Put a link to it. Know what happens sometimes when these drills are going on. Alien remains? ? Meanwhile, in Antarctica, 3 new elongated skulls uncovered. Take a look at those. Alien, or did human beings used to have bigger brains? I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Stare at the picture and really think about it. One more in the general bin. Ready for Yahoo considering creating its own YouTube? Right on. I always thought YouTube should have a competitor. Nothing against YouTube. It's where we all met. I love this place. It's a great community. But, sign me up. There's a lot of video competitors out there, but none of them come close to YouTube. I always thought there should be, even though Yahoo's probably just as controlled, as Google. It is what it is. Put a link to it. Over to financial news. How the Dow Jones Industrial Average did Friday. The Dow fell 159 points on Friday, but it was up 89 points on the week. Pretty flat. Put a link to this here. 60 Minutes runs a story. This from CBS News. Is the U.S. stock market rigged? ? You think? I'll put a link to it. It's interesting to see the mainstream media talk about crap we've been talking about for years. Got one here. Former World Bank Senior Counsel says a second species on Earth controls money and religion. Play the X-Files music. Put a link to this. J.P. Morgan got another death. J.P. Morgan bankruptcy lawyer killed in hit and run. This came out March 28 from We Are Change. All these bank bankers and people connected to banks dying. What's up? Russian lawmakers call on oil and gas producers to ditch dirty, bloody dollar. We all know that's coming sooner or later. Put this link from RT. Be advised. And my friends in Canada, cost to heat homes with natural gas going up 40% in Canada. 40%. As of, I believe, April 1st, it says. I'll put a link to this from City News Toronto. Be advised if you're in Canada. From The Guardian, we got Facebook buys. Facebook's doing pretty good lately. Facebook buys UK maker of solar-powered drones to expand the internet. Wait a minute. We're going to expand the internet with solar-powered drones. Can't we already do this with satellites? No, this is just more excuse to put drones in the air. Put a link to this. Meanwhile, we already know that Facebook acquired the, virtual reality company Oculus. I'll put a link to the article if you're not aware of that. Facebook doing some weird stuff lately. And I guess business is good because they got this money to be buying up all these companies. I got a couple more. From the Daily Caller, George Washington wanted Obamacare. Nazi Pelosi says. Did you see that video clip of her saying the founding fathers wanted Obamacare for the people? I'll put a link to it. I had to watch it myself. Like she knows anything about what the founding fathers. She knows nothing about what the founding fathers wanted for this country. She's everything the opposite of what they wanted. Just my opinion. Got one more in the financial bin. Speaking of Nazi Pelosi, crazy socialist Nazi Pelosi claims we can't cut government spending. There's no more cuts to make. Then why are we spending $400,000 on a camel statue in Pakistan? Yeah. Okay, we're over to New World Order and Police State News now. We got this leaked DHS document shows Obama gearing up for war with right-wing extremists. In my opinion, it's against the American people as a whole. But I'll put a link to this from Mr. Conservative. A lot of stuff people who subscribed to me for a long time already know. But if there's anybody new, you might want to check this article out. Interesting stuff in there. Investment Watch has this. Meanwhile, in Europe, Obama says the Constitution is outdated. International law is supreme. United Nations. This come out March 28. Really now, Mr. President. Put a link to this from ABC News. Albuquerque shooting recordings to be given to FBI. I think because that story about the Albuquerque police murdering the homeless man went viral. Now the FBI is getting involved in it. Not that I think much is going to come of that, but, we made something happen. We got this tear gas released. Some Albuquerque Police Department protesters arrested. People were protesting. It was nice to see people in the streets about something meaningful, not like a basketball game, but they're down there protesting the killing of the homeless man. Right on. I wish I could have been there. I'll put a link to this from guns.com. Connecticut new law requiring permits to buy long guns takes effect April 1st. Put a link to this. Be advised. From the Daily Caller, college suspends student for asking questions about gun control. How dare you question our authority? Put a link to the article from San Francisco Gate. Thousands of parents pull kids from New York test. Check this article out. Is this about Common Core? Talking about how students are being tested for this, that, and it's interfering with their ability to learn and whatnot. Interesting times. School has certainly changed since I was there. I will say that. From Blacklisted News, let's see. Look at this. Creativity and nonconformity now listed as mental illness. Creativity and nonconformity. Pay attention. Put a link to this. Meanwhile, We Are Change has this Bilderberg Group 2014 to meet in Denmark. This came out April 1st, 2014. From Disclosed TV, speaking of the Bilderberg Group, this is old news here, but just in case there are new subscribers who don't know, NBC News reports all Americans should be microchipped by 2017. Put a link to it. Over to World War III news. Got this from Before It's News. Deadly dangers of Russian troops in America now. Interesting article here. Red Dawn, anyone? Wolverines for the win, I say. Put this link. NATO chief says Russia could attack Ukraine without warning. This come out on April 3rd from Time. We got Turkey officials talk invasion of northern Syria. This come out March 27. I guess that's after the leak was revealed. I got one from Zero Hedge after that. Here's the YouTube Start a False Flag with Syria leaked recording. Put a link to this. There's a video there if you want to check that out. Got a couple more here. Let's see. Argentine leaders claim Franklin's a NATO nuclear base. I don't know anything about this. I'll put a link to it from 7 News. Anybody down in that area might want to check that out. And one more. Inside the military's new office of cyborgs. Military's new office of cyborgs. Terminator? Anyone? We're over to Earth Changes in 2012 news now. I don't know about you guys, but we've already had several severe storms in the St. Louis area the past few days. People were hanging out on my live stream, got to hear tornado sirens going off and crazy wind. It has been nuts, so we're going to see a lot of weather this spring, no doubt. But let's talk about earthquakes real quick. We had all kinds of earthquakes this past week. the Pacific Rim, you know, the Ring of Fires, really, really talking. We had the 8.2 big quake that hit Chile, sparked a tsunami that went all the way to Japan. Indeed, 24 hours later, buoys were going off across the Pacific Ocean. Put a link to the story here. We had an aftershock of 7.8. Let's see, April 2nd. I'll put a link to this. We had a 6.3 Panama quake that was felt in Costa Rica. This was on April 2nd. All kinds of quakes. 6.0 magnitude quake jolts Solomon Islands. I'll put a link to this. This was on April 4. Yellowstone had the big one at Yellowstone. 4.8, biggest quake they've seen in quite a few years. Yellowstone waking up? I don't know. I'll put a link to this from UPI. I got some more stuff here. Los Angeles Times comes out with this. This fault could bring an earthquake worse than the big one. This came out March 30th. Interesting read. Be advised if you're in Los Angeles or the California area, you want to take a look at that. News Channel 3, we got this other news. Helmet cam shows apparent meteorite nearly hitting skydiver. Interesting stuff here. Come on April 3rd. More incoming objects? I don't know. But speaking of objects, the Telegraph had this kind of a sad story. You know, they're talking about Flight 370 and all the crap that they're finding in the ocean, all the trash. I found this article here. Space is so full of junk that a satellite collision could destroy communications on Earth. You know, we're just doing a great job at polluting the oceans, polluting space. Human beings as a whole, as a collective, we've just, you know, it's just sad. Anyway, I'll put a link to the story here. Over to strange and bizarre news. Got all kinds of strange news this week. Check this out. Body found in car with note, warning to stay away from Waco, Texas. Really? March 27. Put a link to this. What's up with that? We got, this is ridiculous. 9-year-old charged with terrorism in Pakistan. Not 9-year-old. 9-month-old. Excuse me. 9-month-old charged with terrorism in Pakistan. Being fingerprinted. 9 months old. I know, it's like 9-year-old would be outrageous, but 9-month-old, I'll put a link to it from Hawaii News now. We got from the Washington Post, man swept out to sea during Sunday morning baptism. Wow. Put a link to that, March 31. Hope he's all right. I didn't really read through that story. I just thought it was crazy. From the Daily Caller, Bill Clinton on aliens. If we were visited someday, I would not be surprised. That's because you are an alien, aren't you? Yep. Put a link to this from Daily Caller. British scientist clone dinosaur. Dinosaur? Kind of neat, but kind of creepy at the same time. Put a link to it. From Hawaii News Now, student fell to death after eating pot cookie. Blame it on the marijuana. Right, put a link to this. That was on the 2nd. From The Guardian, check this out. Black Death skeletons reveal pitiful life of 14th century Londoners. Black Death. Interesting. Creepy. Got one more in a strange bizarre bin. Man says wife frozen to death in morgue. Man claims his wife was still alive, but she froze to death in the morgue. Wouldn't be the first time somebody was pronounced dead and woke up in the morgue. For all other news, please check my favorite videos. I have favorited tons of video over the past week. Thank you to everybody who puts out content. At least pull it up and scan over the titles of those videos, see if there's anything that you're not aware of over there. Got a couple shout-outs this week. Shout out to Hellavadeal. He put out a great video. It's almost 11 minutes long. Atheist and faithful believers, listen up. Just a video of wisdom, in my opinion, talking about how different people believe different things, but you know, we can all find some common ground when on issues such as the New World Order and whatnot and stuff like that. Just a great video, and I thank you for that message, sir. I really needed to hear that. Certain people put out videos at certain times right when I need to hear a certain message. It's almost like, you know, Montagraph and Chrissy Sumer were talking about on their show last night, synchronicity. So anyway, I'll put a link to that video. Speaking of Montagraph, shout out to the New World Order Soldier is back. He uploaded a video on the I'm Your Ghost channel. You really want to check that out. It's a good story, always good stuff, hanging out with the New World Order Soldier. I'll put a link to that. Thank you, Monty, for your work. Great stuff, as always. That's all I got for this week, guys. If you'd like to report, please rate, give me a thumbs up and a +1, and wherever else you might find it, appreciate it. Or if it sucked, please give it a thumbs down. It's the worst of YouTube. You never want to see it again. Just please rate. It really helps it move around. I appreciate it. You also follow me on Google+, Facebook, Twitter for live show alerts, breaking news alerts, new video alerts, because people tell me they subscribe to me, but they don't get my videos. Follow me there. You'll always get them. All those links are at the bottom always. That's all I got, guys. You know, another week of crazy madness. We got a couple more days to find this plane before the black box goes dead. Is it even on the bottom of the ocean? I don't believe it is. So we'll see what happens. You know, you guys take care, stay safe. I will see you on the next one.